What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the importance of standing your ground. So I'm sure you guys have all been in a situation where you are being targeted or someone is treating you in a way that you don't specifically like. So let's go through a few examples. So off the bat, I think one of the easiest ones is like the straight up bully. So why don't you explain a situation where you've been bullied in the past?
Okay, so I've had a couple friends in the past, right, who would sort of tease me and sort of target me as if I were the scapegoat. And at one point, like, it felt a little more personal and almost like bullying. And I didn't know whether I was just taking it personally or whether they were taking it too far.
Right, so this is a common thing that a lot of bullies do. They tend to make you feel as if you are nothing and you're being like, you don't know exactly what they're doing, but whatever it is, it doesn't make you feel good. Now, another big thing that bullies do is something that I've had a lot of experience with, which is gaslighting. Do you know what that is?
Gaslighting? No, why don't you explain it to them?
So basically what gaslighting is someone tells you something and it makes you feel a certain way, right? It makes you feel anxious or nervous or just overall unhappy, but once you call them out on it, they make it like they didn't say anything at all and their goal wasn't to offend you. You guys really need to watch out for these kind of people. I think they're even more dangerous than the bully types because they can be manipulative and borderline sociopathic, which is really scary to be around. Like, for example, a bully, if someone is bullying you like in front of other people, there's a great chance that someone might step in and stand up for you. Of course, you don't want to wait for that. You want to stand up for yourself, but if someone's gaslighting you, it will be very hard to determine for the other people, and they'll most likely think that you're just being too sensitive. So if it is one of those situations where you feel as though you're being too sensitive, definitely watch out for that. So now that you know what it is, has this ever happened to you, really?
This is exactly what's happened to me in the past. There have been scenarios when the friend would make it look as if I were just being too sensitive myself and like he didn't do anything at all. So like in that situation, I noticed that I tend to be way more quiet and uncomfortable than I usually am.
Yeah, because when someone's bullying you, you don't really, you don't have to hide it, right? It's an obvious problem. But when someone's gaslighting you, it's hard to pinpoint it.
Right, it's like when someone's gaslighting me, then I'm always caught off guard and I don't even know how to respond sometimes. That's when I just completely stay silent. You know?
And a lot of the times, these gaslighters, there'll be people that you're very close to. That's what I've noticed. Like the bully types, for example, you usually wouldn't be friends with someone who just bullies you. If you are, you need to cut them off immediately, obviously, but they're probably just someone in your school or in your college or in your group of friends that you just don't really get along with. With gaslighters, you can be gaslit by the people that you love the most. I'm sure you can attest to this.
Yeah, of course. Like, usually it happens whenever it happens between me and my closest friends, because then they get a little too comfortable to a certain extent where they start kind of gaslighting me, you know?
Right. All right, real quick, we forgot to mention something. So, if you guys are in this situation where you get gaslit and you don't stand up for yourself, that's going to be very bad for your mental health. You want to explain why?
Yeah, I do. So basically you don't want to let the other person like walk all over you and let him, keep bullying you for your own sake, because otherwise you'll feel a little, less of yourself, more insecure when this sort of happens. This is what happens when you just don't stand up to them.
Right, and society's kind of taught us to not stand up for ourselves and like go tell a teacher and avoid like a fight, but honestly, I don't think this is the right way to go about it at all, because if you don't show them who's boss in that situation, all it takes is one time of showing them who's boss. They'll never bother you again, right?
Yeah, of course. So, like, we don't mean, like, use your fists or anything against the other person, but you have to find a way to talk to the other guy. Now, either he understands you or he refuses to listen. Now, in that case, that's when you have to cut them off.
Yeah, and we're gonna be talking more about that later in the video. So let's keep going into it. Yeah. And this is a great segue into our next point, which is knowing your boundaries. You really have to set boundaries with people, because if you don't, they will step all over you. I've personally experienced this the most out of anything we've talked about so far. More than gaslighting, more than the straight up bully types, it's the people that don't know boundaries and don't really understand that, like, we're not like the best of friends. You can't just do whatever. And even if we are best friends, there still should be boundaries. Like, if someone's coming into your space and like making a big mess, you need to set that boundary. Obviously, that's a very extreme and somewhat stupid example, because that's unlikely to happen, but honestly it could happen. Like in a dorming situation, which is what I'm in right now, people can really mess with you because the door is open, anyone can just walk in, and people get bold with it and they act up. So you guys need to keep people in check. That's a big part of this video. Did this ever happen to you?
Yeah, so sometimes it can be hard to determine, like, when the person is really going too far and what the boundaries should really be. Because in some cases, I feel that I'm just a little too sensitive, right? And it's more like on me than it is on the other person. But at other times, I'm letting them take advantage of me and manipulate me, which is, the sign that things are getting way too escalated and out of hand.
Yeah, if you feel like there's that much of a power gap where you're here and the other person's up here and they can just pull your strings and push your buttons, that's usually a good sign that you should probably cut them off entirely. And I just actually had a situation like this not too long ago where I was trying to hang out with someone and they were just leading me on. This is a little bit different, but this is also very manipulative, because they got information from another friend of theirs that I wanted to hang out, and they came at me saying like, oh, why don't you hang out with me anymore, which is a gaslight, right?
Right,
because they don't even want to hang out anyway.
They make you look like the guilty one. Isn't that what happens?
That's a big thing that bullies do. They make you think you're crazy and look bad.
And then you start to question yourself because of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's their best skill, is making people look bad and making people doubt themselves. And self-doubt will not lead you in the path that you want to go in. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yes, I definitely can. So, like, usually when the other person does take things a little too far, more comfortable than you'd like them to be, then either you should completely cut them off, which is definitely easier said than done, or you have to, like, find a way to get to their sentences. And that's like a completely different story that we need to touch on too.
Right, we definitely need to talk about this, because this is like part of the video where you guys actually figure out what to do in these situations. And obviously in the moment you're going to be very angry. So I would say in the moment, don't do much, which might sound crazy, but you guys don't want to say or do something that you'll regret really bad. I think that that's much worse than just doing nothing. So you want to kind of calm down. Don't act on emotion, because that'll get you in a wrong spot that you don't want to be in, and it'll be hard to justify yourself in the long run. And then they'll succeed in thinking that you are the bad guy and convincing everyone around you. Right. So don't act on emotion. What should they do?
So, like, at the moment when you're at a bad state of mind, then you have to, like, find a little time for yourself to recollect yourself. And then at that point, once you're more calm, then that's when you can start, like, trying to resonate with the other guy and really talk with them. to get
Yeah,
to their
because
senses.
there are some times where people are like being rude to you, but they don't even notice because some people are very not self-aware. Like they have a lack of self-awareness, and
Yeah,
they don't know
for sure.
that they're making you uncomfortable or annoyed, but they actually are. So definitely watch out for that. But if you talk to someone and they still don't listen to your concerns and hear you out, what should they do at that point?
So, like, if the other guy refuses to listen to you at all times, then at that point you may have to decide to, like, cut your boundaries with the guy and sort of take him out of your life.
Yeah, at that point you need to decide, is this relationship bringing you more good or bad? And if the answer is bad,
Then
it's time for them to go.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you guys, like, this is hard for everyone, but this is, I think, an integral part of everyone's self-development journey, is cutting off the people that hold them down the most. And with that being said, I think we can end it here. I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, this is Jacob B.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, he's back from the other video. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It's the one about 16-year-old maintaining an unbreakable mindset. I'm going to link it at the end of the video so you guys will be thrust straight into it after this one. And with that being said, thank you for watching.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time, I guess. Probably, I might be back. Who knows?
Adios.
All right, see you guys.